Hi, my name's Mike O'Brien, and this is Winning the Volume War for Pastors. In most of our churches, the pastor's role in defining the culture of music and sound is significant. As the main leader and communicator, your voice is vital in this volume discussion. In rooms both large and small, the metric of volume is an important part of the discussion as we talk about how to remove obstacles to Jesus. As I will point out, it runs deeper than just decibel meters and drum shields. So pastors, here are 3 things you can do to help win the volume war. Decide the culture of sound that you want. Sit with your team or by yourself and using experiences from other concert venues or other churches, think emotionally about what you want to experience on your weekend services. Set that vision. It could be encapsulated in a sentence like, we want it loud and in your face, or we want it controlled and safe. We want to remove obstacles for families of all ages. We want it as good and as energetic as the concert in the city was, the non-worship concert. We want to hear every word and feel every kick drum. We want it 80% energetic, 20% intimate. Any of these phrases might help just define what your church wants, how you want it to go. Know that some generations want to be surrounded and filled by music, while other generations simply want to be accompanied by music. Which best describes who you want to fill the seats on the weekend? Do you want spectators or do you want participants in worship? Thinking of volume and the culture it fosters, realize that sound levels that are too soft and too anemic will be just as much of an obstacle as sounds that are too loud and too energetic for some. Are the complainers, the money makers, the one lone sound guy, are these people directing the culture of sound in your church, or is the vision directing that culture and those decisions? Number 2, champion your worship and sound teams. Think of yourself not as the production police, but as a cheerleader, as somebody that when you hear the energy and the sound and the volume that you like, you champion those who are creating it. So the sound techs, you're lavishing love and praise on them when you hear it done well. We're so used to just being critiqued when things go wrong. When you hear what you like, really give praise to it. So if the drummer and the band or the musicians are kind of doing the thing, or you finally hear the guitar solo, or you hear the energy or see the energy, let the people know that they're hitting the mark and that you're really enjoying it. What is rewarded is repeated. So instead of just fixing things all the time, think of yourself as a cheerleader and somebody that's giving praise. Have systems in place that help you kind of determine if it's just you or if it truly is the room or the sound. So I have my wife, I have a 20-year-old guy, and I have another staff member that every week I ask them, how did it sound? And if all 3 of them say something and say the same thing, then I know something was probably off and could be addressed. If it was just one of them, then maybe things were okay. And if all 3 of them say it sounded great, then I really can let that filter down to the teams and say, hey guys, we really hit the mark this week. So all those emotions are just as important as a measurement like a decibel meter or something like that. So talk about the emotion and the energy in your staff meetings as you evaluate as well. Number 3, dream of the future. Pastors, have in mind, have in your head, what is next? What is next for the sound system and for the room that God's given you to use? What's next? Is it a new drum set? Is it a new sound paneling throughout the room? Is it a new soundboard? What is next? Have that dream and that vision of always improving and moving forward. This will help in the volume discussion, knowing that we're taking the things that we have and we're improving the quality of them. When you think of a world-class violinist playing on a cheap $200 or $300 rental violin, that's not as inspiring as that world-class violinist playing on what they normally have, which is like an $80,000 or $100,000 Stradivarius. A great instrument in the hand of a musician is a beautiful thing, and we want to work on giving the tools to the musicians that they need in the sound system. So think of your dream. What is the dream sound system for your church? Do you have that written out so that when the money comes or the entrepreneur comes and they say, I want to invest, we're ready to give them the answer. Find a church similar in size to your church, maybe a little bigger. Research and find out what helped them to create the culture of sound that they have. And maybe you could hire that person, if it's a technical person, to come in and do some consultation for your room and give ideas of what might help transform the room. Work alongside your worship leaders, your sound techs, your finance teams to educate, to bring resources to provide education for sound and for musicians, just to bless them and move that ahead. And finally, preachers, pastors, know your microphone. Know the specifics of your headset mic or your handheld mic. Know how that works. For the rest of your life, you're probably going to be dealing with sound systems and rooms and acoustics. Try to familiarize yourself with some of the concepts and know that that's going to help you in your journey. It's also going to give you some authority as you talk with sound people and worship leaders over the years to speak into things. So know that leaders set the pace for the culture of our gathered services. It's our common desire to see obstacles removed to Jesus in our environments. Your leadership and your encouragement to worship leaders, musicians, and sound techs makes a huge difference as we work together to win the volume war.